Okay, good morning everyone and welcome to Morning Mindset. This is a glorious Sunday here in Egypt and we are starting a brand new topic of the week. We've got a great topic this week. Good morning Alison, good morning Mia, it's good to see you guys here and thank you for joining me on a Sunday. The topic of this week, I wanted to keep it very light-hearted. Okay, so let's just unpack the last couple of weeks here on Morning Mindset. We did our workshop week, which was very well met. That was all about understanding and learning how you claim clients within your business. So we talked about manifesting techniques, and I do talk a lot about that a lot here on Morning Mindset because it's something that is so heavily a part of my life and my business and how I basically operate. And then last week we went through how to start a virtual assistant business for free because that was a topic that needed to be answered from the group. And today I want to bring it back to thinking more about how we create our realities and what can happen around us. So I thought I would use something that I do. I wanted to share with you something that I do to kind of like really go back to the basics with this stuff. Okay, so what it is some people will always claim to know or to understand that they create their reality and that they manifest, and we get this kind of swinging pendulum between believing that, you know, when something goes right and you believe that you manifested that, but when something goes wrong you say, no, I never would have manifested that. But we're always all manifesting. So it's pretty much you're either in or you're out with this stuff. And I know it can be so difficult sometimes when we have these grand ideas of, oh, I want to create a six-figure business, or I want to be a millionaire, or I want to have this house of my dreams, or I want the car of my dreams. And it feels so far away, like so far away from where you are now. So what I want to do is share with you some little insights this week on how to begin the process of knowing that you are the creator of everything in your life. Knowing. And I'm going to share with you a beautiful little story of something that happened to me yesterday actually, so you can kind of see how this works and how I do it. So I have the very big things in my life that I'm manifesting, which I script about. We've talked about scripting on previous videos, where I write down the outcome and how I feel that now I've got it and how everything's great. And I tend to focus a lot of visualizations around those, a lot of goals. I do a lot of affirmations because these things feel sometimes quite far away. Unless you like really into this stuff and 100% in the knowing all the time, you know, it's difficult to kind of like put yourself in a place that's so far away from where you are now. Now, a way that something that Neville Goddard used to do, who's basically the king of all this stuff. Neville Goddard used to give people like a test that if they wanted to be part of his coaching program, which they would pay a lot of money for, you couldn't exactly just go in and pay the money and have Neville Goddard coach you. He had to make sure that the people that he was coaching were really truly ready and believing wholeheartedly in what he had to say. So he gave them all a test, and it was the ladder test. So if you've not heard of this ladder test, you can go and Google it. There's loads of people telling the story of how it works. But very simply, he gave people the task to go away and write down on a piece of paper, I will not climb a ladder. I will not climb a ladder. So he wanted to do this to prove and show that whether you're thinking negatively or positively, whether you're saying I want or I don't want, anything that you imagine and visualize in your mind, it's by law, it has to be created unless you revise it. Okay? So not many people know this revision technique, or not many people know that they can revise things that they've already thought about. But the nice thing is if everything manifested immediately in our experience, you know, we would get a lot of things that we don't want. But you know, like the thing is, we're there to choose and we're there to decide, and we create everything from within first. So he told everyone to write down, I will not climb a ladder. And he told everyone, as you are going to sleep at night, You must visualize climbing a ladder just in your mind as you go to sleep. Now, everyone basically went away sort of quite skeptical and then came back to him and said, I get it, I climbed a ladder. Even though I was saying I wasn't going to climb a ladder all day, even though I wasn't thinking about climbing a ladder all day, even though I was seeing ladders and telling myself and forcing myself not to climb the ladder, I ended up climbing a ladder to demonstrate and show you the power of your mind. Now, the power of your mind is working on small things and big things. The universe or the world or your higher self or God or whatever you want to call it does not understand the difference between something small like climbing a ladder and something big like manifesting millions. It's all to do with who you are being and your belief system as to how quickly it's created. Because if you can just imagine something and let it go knowing it's already done, it will manifest quite quickly, because that is the exact state that you have to be in on everything. But unfortunately, the bigger things we have resistance to, from old beliefs, from knowing if it's possible for us, from thinking that it's unlikely, from not really believing that, we could have those things, not really believing in the process of whether it works. So my encouragement to you is, if you are in a place where you've been trying to manifest something big, you need to first, and it's not been happening, and you're thinking it doesn't work, and you're thinking, well, this isn't there yet, and you're looking on the outside, I would suggest you use what I'm going to share with you this week, and we're going to unpack it all this week. Okay, so you can go away, start small, go away, look at the Neville Goddard stuff, look at the Neville Goddard climbing the ladder, the thing that he used to give people, and he basically said, come back to me when you climb a ladder. Okay, so what I want to give to you now is a little challenge. We're doing the client challenge right now inside Virtual CoWorking Space. So the workshop materials are all still in there. The 5-day workshop process is still in there. I encourage you to do that for 30 days. But I also encourage you to let go of the heavy stuff. I need the money, I need the car, I need the job, I need the significant person, I need all this stuff, like in my life. Try to let go of the heavy stuff that feels too far away. And that doesn't mean to say it's going to go. You need a distraction of your mind. I'll explain why. So something lovely happened to me yesterday. Now, it came from, actually, several things happened to me a lot. And it comes from a little process I do to manifest things intentionally, but things that I can let go of very, very easily. And that's why I have to think of a lot of these things. So sometimes I just think to myself, oh, I'd like that. And I write it down in what I call an order book. I have this little tiny book here, and I call it my order book. And on each page, when I think of one of these small things that I would like to have, I write it down in the order book. Now, in my mind, this order book is things that I am ordering into my life. And what I do is I write it down and then I visualize it. Okay, so this week I had a couple of sunbeds. I had $2,000 in cash. I had a dog lead. All things that I wrote down in this little book. Small, big, doesn't matter, but I write them down. And then I do this technique, which we're going to unpack, and it takes seconds. Anyway, from what I'm going to share with you this week, and I'll share what I wrote down in this order book, and I write a date on it. And on the 27th of the 10th, excuse my terrible writing, on the 27th of the 10th, because I wrote 2710 up there, I wrote bouquet of flowers, and I put a little drawing of a bouquet of flowers. And then basically, we're going to unpack this, because then what we do is, once the order is placed, we then have to do a process of creating it in the experience, and then forgetting it, and then receiving it, basically. And that's what happens to me. So the first thing I do is I place the order. So get a small book, or it can be a list or something like that, and make it something where you can easily just, like when I get this, actually I got it, so I can cross this off now, but I do it for things for fun. And then basically what I do is I do this technique where I create it and I forget it, and then it just comes. So yesterday, after writing this down on the 27th of the 10th, now keeping in mind the last time I got a bouquet of flowers was on my birthday back in May. So when you do these orders, do it for just things like, oh, I'd like to have that. And one thing I will definitely say that this will help you to understand in the big picture of things is a lot of people will want the house or want the car, but they will focus on the wrong thing, because they'll focus on receiving the money or having the money for these things rather than focusing on the end result of the car. Okay, so this is again something that I want to share with you, is that I did not focus on getting the money for a bunch of flowers to go and buy them myself. And you've got to understand this really key point in manifestation. If you want to manifest a house, you don't focus on the money to buy the house. You focus only on the house and living in that house. You go directly to the end. Because if you focus on getting the money for something or wanting to manifest the money to buy something, you are in a place of not already having it. So it's really important that when you write down these things, small things like a bouquet of flowers, you don't focus on anything else other than receiving the bouquet of flowers. So I did a visualization on this. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. But yesterday, which is the 2nd of November, so between the 27th of the 10th to the 2nd of November, I wrote this down. I did my little technique, which I'll share this week, and then I didn't think about it at all. Now, yesterday, my daughter came home, my eldest daughter. I have 5 kids in total. She came back into the kitchen. She called me down and said, Mum, I actually did a visualization, few-second visualization of someone handing me flowers in my kitchen. And it's never normally this accurate, but she was in my kitchen and she called me down and said, Mum, can you come down? I've got something for you. And she was standing there in the kitchen with a bunch of flowers. And I was like, oh my God. She's like, what? Anyway, I asked her what led her to buy me this bunch of flowers. It was not a special day. It was not anything. And I really put the bunch of flowers down because I thought, nobody ever buys me flowers. So I've decided I want flowers. And she stood in the kitchen and she said, I don't know what it was, Mum. She said, but I was going past the supermarket. And she said, I knew they had really lovely flowers in there. And she just said that she felt like she had to go in and buy me a bunch of flowers. So that manifestation took 5 days in total, and I'm going to give you more details about what this is. But basically, for day 1, which is today, go out and buy your little book, something that you can just write on 1 page, a tiny manifestation, a small manifestation. It can be believable things, it could be unbelievable things, it could be things that you would just love to experience. It could be, like a cuddle with a kitten or something like that. It could be climbing a ladder, it could be anything, but it's just something that you want to experience. You could do the bouquet of flowers if you want to. But the first thing is to go out and get that little book and write down a bouquet of flowers. And then everything else from there is very quick and very seamless. And I literally, the reason I went, oh my God, in the kitchen is because I'd forgotten completely. I had completely forgotten since the moment I wrote this down, the day I wrote this down, that I'd written that down. And it shows you how powerful we are when we can do something once. And if we can just detach from it and let it go immediately, knowing it's going to happen and not being so attached to when and where and how you're going to get it, like trying to get the money to get something or trying to force it to say, okay, well, where could my flowers come from? I know my flowers will come from my husband, or the flowers will come from this place. As soon as you do that, you're placing conditions on your manifestation. And when you place conditions on your manifestation, it means that the universe has to meet those conditions, and it can take a lot longer because you're getting too specific and you're not just living in the end result of receiving a bouquet of flowers or driving your dream car or living in your dream house. As soon as we say how, and then you start thinking, I've got to get the money for this, that is when you are placing the conditions on the end result. So my tip for you today is start small, start thinking about things that you want, small things. You can try the bouquet of flowers. It could be even things you don't want, like climbing a ladder, just to test these things out. Small things that you think, oh, that would be nice. You have to care about them, by the way. You can't just choose anything. You have to think, oh, I'd be really curious to see how I end up climbing a ladder. I'd be really curious to see where a bunch of flowers might come from, you know, or anything like that. Or, you know, it could be amount of money or something like that. So get your little book and start thinking about things and write them down in your order book with the date just above that you placed your order. And then tomorrow we're going to come back to this, and I'm going to reveal more about what you do as soon as you've written it down, because there's something I do, but there are things that other people do, like the Never Got Our technique is not something I specifically do. I keep it more simple than that. So I'm going to share with you more ideas of how this happened. But basically what I'm going to help you do is learn how to manifest super quick this week, and that is step 1. So come back here tomorrow and we will unpack step 2. And in the meantime, we'll be doing our daily accountability. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, go and get your books, come back here tomorrow, and I will reveal the next piece of this puzzle. And Mia's going to give it a try. It's so good. Yeah, like I said, this week I had, an iPhone I got this week too. Manifested an iPhone. I crossed that off. Yeah, it's just so funny. So from dog leads to bouquets of flowers to lumps of cash to iPhones, you can try this with anything. But I would strongly suggest, if you want to work that muscle of getting to the point where you can do the bigger manifestations, just start playing around with this. And it does not matter how many things you write down. This technique in total takes just a few minutes. And it's really important that you just write things down that you think will be fun and playful and interesting, things that rouse your curiosity, not things that you're really deeply attached to the outcome of having. Just things like, oh, that would be nice. I just thought to myself, what do I want today? I know, I would love to receive a bunch of flowers. It took 5 days, but on day 2, I wasn't sat there thinking, oh, I've not had my flowers yet. I'd literally forgotten about it completely. So that's the kind of interesting thing about how this works. So I'm going to give you the next part of this tomorrow, but in the meantime, think about all the things that you would like to bring into your life. And when I say think about them, also, you know, we're going to talk about the imaginal techniques tomorrow, but like try to just think what that might look like in your mind. Because if you can create it in your mind, then you can definitely receive it in your experience. So this is what we're doing this week. Hope you enjoy it. Do this alongside the challenge inside the workshop space, in the virtual co-working space, in the members area, because it's fun. It's this stuff, and this is why I'm doing this week, because sometimes it can feel so heavy, and I want you to have fun this week with this stuff. And also let me know and share in the comments if you actually did use this technique next week and anything happened, or come back on the videos and let me know. Okay, so we're going to unpack this some more tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you then, but in the meantime, we're going to do our daily accountability. Take care and have a beautiful day ahead. Before we begin, don't forget you can join me live online inside Virtual CoWorking Space at www.virtualmissfriday.com/VCS. If you enjoy this session, give it a like. I'd love to hear from you, so write me a comment. And so you don't miss any updates, don't forget to subscribe. Let's begin. So now we're going to look for the positive with our gratitude. First, we'll spend 1 minute thinking of the day before. Thinking of all the things that happened, reflecting on work, interactions, relationships, memorable moments, and more. Now you'll write one thing down minimum that you're grateful for. You can, of course, write down more. Something good, something that went right, a small moment or a big win. The more you search for things to be grateful for, the more you will experience things to be grateful for. Now we're going to read out your goal. Make sure your goal is written down in a journal or somewhere you can easily access it. Read your goal now, ideally out loud, and commit to this goal. Believe it will happen. And by reading this daily, the universe knows clearly what your goal is, and the things begin to shift in the direction of your goal. Follow your instincts when this happens by taking action. Now you need to see your goal in visualization. Spend this minute thinking about the goal in your mind. See yourself taking steps towards the goal, or even better still, see yourself having already achieved the goal. Close your eyes and go there. Step into the feeling, step into the place, step into the accomplishment. And finally, it's time for your most important task. Set this task for today and make it relating to your goal. This could be something small like sending an email, recording a video, or making a phone call, or it could be bigger. Either way, one task a day is one step forward, and those steps will add up. Do what you can from where you are now. Set the intention, and the action will carry you towards your goal. Well done you for completing your daily co-create session. Have a fantastic day ahead, and I'll see you next time.